Welcome everybody once again. Josh the Mosh in the pit every Thursday. That's what we do. And I'm just so excited about this show. We're just gonna get it going. Bring them in. Let's do it. What's up, my man?
How's it going, man? Another week gone by, and I'm here ready to talk about some wrestling.
Hello, Mr. Cervantes.
Oh, man, I'm glad you tuned in. We got a special show for you, Brian.
That's what we do, man. Love that. Mission Pro. Well, let's get into it, man. We got the usual suspects. So let's just start off with what we start off with, and we'll get to it. And then I know we advertised a big announcement. We'll get to that. So stay tuned, and let's welcome in. He's got a co-host for his Brandon B. Ninja segment, Women of the Week.
Yes, with my trusty sidekick, Mr. Hong Kong Fooey himself. He's going to help me. Number one super guy. He's going to help me. He's going to help me educate the Woman of the Week for August 20th. And this one is more of a put some respect on this woman's wrestler, because after what I saw on Raw and the mistreatment that he got right there, yes, that chic shirt is fucking fire. But anyway, yeah.
I need to cuss in real quick too. I love it. Killing two birds with one stone. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, let's keep on rolling. So anyway, the Ninja's Woman of the Week for August the 20th. I'm going to give it to the 5-time women's champion, 1-time Divas champion, 3-time TNA Knockouts champion, and PWI's Woman of the Year for 2009, Miss Mickie James herself. As those accolades I just mentioned, this girl's been around for almost 20 years doing the damn thing. Started off in the indies, competed with Ring of Honor, even wrestled one of our personal favorite Texans. Shout out to Simply Luscious, always simply spectacular that is. But anyway, the reason why I put her as my Woman of the Week is basically because of why in the bluest of thugs would you discredit someone the caliber of someone who was in a premier storyline with Trish Stratus that stretched that 6-month storyline to a WrestleMania win that got Mickie, who was the heel at the time, the biggest pop of the night because fans wanted her to win, and she did that and had an infinite spot that I cannot say on here because it kind of correlates to who's in office right now, but that's not the point. But anyway, yeah, the fact that she was a part of that match, retired Trish, retired Lita, and basically win the title from Beck Phoenix on top of Michelle McCool with the controversial Mickie James storyline. The woman has done it all, but for some reason, a company like WWE just can't seem to put respect on veterans such as them. And when she went to TNA and basically did her things, became a 3-time Knockouts champion, had some incredible programs and storylines, including that spectacular cage match she had with Victoria, aka Tara, where she did a Luthes press off the top rope. And then after her stint there, coming back to WWE just to be a sidekick for Alexa Bliss, even though it's kind of a mentor role. But the fact that you kind of put her in the segment, even though she had a pay-per-view match and she got to appear at WrestleMania to get demolished by Nia Jax. The shit that they did on Monday where they basically had Seth Rollins just intertwine during her return match from almost a year-long ACL injury. WWE, you got to put some respecting names on your vets, especially your female veterans, because you're trying to start or basically resume an evolution in women's wrestling, but yet you're circling it 10 years backwards with shit like you just did, such as disrespecting Mickie James, because she is one legend, #future Hall of Famer, you definitely do not want to sleep on, because she will mick kick and give you a long kiss goodnights, and she will DDT your head to the point where she'll put you in a coma, and she will sing you some lullaby a la hardcore country. And that's why you should definitely exactly.
Brian.
She getting paid.
Brian,
I don't care, but tell it to the fans that got her trending on Twitter. So and she openly admitted her disappointment on other interviews. So that's why you gotta put some respect on your name. Sometimes it ain't about the money, sometimes it's about the passion. The money's good for her because she has a kid now, but sometimes money doesn't mean shit when you got a passion for professional wrestling. And that's what Mickey wants to show in her last hurrah before she hangs it up. So let them know that Mickey James is B Ninja's Woman of the Week. So, and Hong Kong Fooey approves.
Awesome. Jason pointed out too that and she can do it in high heels. Amen to that.
I still remember that promo she cut in a ladder, just climbing up in them damn heels. I'm like, damn, girl. I'm like, you are hardcore, no pun intended. But anyway.
Right. All right, man. Well, appreciate you, man. Mickey James, the B Ninja Woman of the Week.
Brought to you by Hong Kong Fooey, the Hong Kong
Nice.
All right, man. Be safe, man.
Later, Brandon.
Oh, I cut him off. You know, he says deuces. My bad. It was like, dude.
What?
I'm just pumped, man. I'm just freaking pumped. The show, we got Killa Kate coming up. I forgot to point that out. Thanks, Brian. I mean, we promoted it and advertised it, and she's going to be ready once we get to her, you know, when we get through our segments. But we're stoked to talk to her about Mission Pro, just like we've been doing. But we got other things in wrestling going on. So with that being said, let's get a little bit of lucha into our life.
Ooh.
We got, in case y'all wonder why Brad is numero dos, it's because we have a numero uno who's on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
Mm.
All right, how y'all doing today?
Good, man. What's going on in the lucha world?
What you want to start with? You want to start with the good news, or you want to start with the not so good news?
Not so good news.
Ooh.
So yesterday. So you want to start with the bad news?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't say it was bad. Okay. He said not so good.
I guess I'll start with the bad news so it can get better with the good news. So yesterday, at the age of 76 years old, Armando Gaitan, which was not one of the best, probably the best announcer ever in Lucha Libre, passed away. It was confirmed by his family. The cause of that hasn't been released, but yeah, yesterday he passed away. Sadly, after he worked for all the biggest promotions in Mexico, and that guy was amazing. I had the pleasure of seeing him live a few times, and that guy was amazing. Like, just the way he will describe, he will make you look like a star even if you were not a star. Like, that's how awesome his presentations were, how he would introduce the people. So rest in peace, and the hope to the family that they will overcome this situation. They will. It's hard when you lose a loved one.
Legend.
And so we lost a good one, a really good one in the wrestling business in Mexico.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So on another note, Mexico is back in business when it comes to wrestling, or lucha libre, should I say? Now, there's a few catch to it. Like, there's only gonna be a 30% capacity. Whatever building it is, they haven't talked about spreading seats or whatever. But one thing that people have been having an issue with is that they they will be required to be tested. Now, getting tested is obviously, that's a good thing, because they're taking precautions. But the way the system works in Mexico, it's way different than it works on the States. Like, oh, there you if you want to get tested, you have to you have to pay.
Mm.
So there's some guys, which obviously because of the situation going on, they're having economic issues right now. And so some people were like giving their opinions, and they were like, well, maybe the promoters who book them have to pay for the test. But then again, that wouldn't be fair. Like for the promoters, maybe someone like CMLL, it will work for them, because most of the guys they work just their shows or mainly their shows, or they have to drop it if they have an indie booking, but they need them. They get them to drop them. So maybe it will work out for a promotion like them. But when it comes to smaller promotions, like smaller indie promotions, then that's when it becomes an issue. Because imagine if you have a budget of, let's say, 70,000 pesos, and then on top of that you gotta pay for everybody's test. So how are you gonna profit out of that with having only a 30% capacity and having to pay the test? So they're still working on that to see what the outcome is gonna be. But so far, that's just what they've said. They're gonna take all the precautions. They're gonna disinfect the ring, the arenas, and everything, and get the wrestlers. Well, the wrestlers have to get tested, but no word on who will pay for that. But yep, at least they're back in action in Mexico, and people are happy. I know wrestlers are happy about it. That they'll finally get to work again. So that's a good thing. And there's already a few shows scheduled to happen this weekend. I know IWRG is having like the second part of their tournament. The same promotion that got fined by the
Oh yeah.
commission.
Mm-hmm.
They're having the second part of that tournament. I believe it's on Sunday. So you can watch it. It's free to watch, but they have their PayPal link, so you can do donations for them to help out the guys and the promoters. So
Mm-hmm.
if you got time and you want to just help out, or maybe if you don't even have time but you want to help out, throw them a couple dollars. The dollar right now, dollar to pesos, like 22 pesos for a dollar. So if you send $5, that's like over 100 pesos. So that's a big help over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I got for now.
Cool. And I guess we can maybe even keep you on. It's up to numero dos. I don't know if he can tell you what to do since you're numero uno, but let's roll into.
That's my guy.
Leave
him on here. That's my guy.
I was gonna say we can just roll right into the deathmatch stuff. I hate to be just rolling through this, but we just got so much going on.
Yeah. Let me kick it off. It's a real big weekend for us deathmatch fans. We got Tournament of Survival this weekend. Real big storyline still leading up. If you've been watching or listening to the couple minutes we've been talking deathmatch last few months, the story in the deathmatch world is 44-0. It's one of the times where it's one of the few times in the indie scene where something is so big it's beginning to transcend from promotion to promotion, which you don't see a lot of that. I personally I wasn't expecting to see a lot of 44-0 at King of the Deathmatch, but you saw a lot of them. Like they're under control. So the big storyline going in is we have 3 members of 44-0 in the Tournament of Survival, and we have 5 members of the GCW roster coming in as well. We believe that they were trying to build up a GCW versus 44-0, but injuries kind of stood in the way there. So they've got 3 members of the 44-0 in. A couple of big storylines there. For the first time ever, we're going to get a main event show in the opening round. We're getting Alex Colon versus Schlack, which Juan.
Yeah,
wow,
it's crazy.
It's insane. Like if you were listening, they were doing a murder death kill hour last night, the death hour, and Colon was on it, and he was just bragging about how much they're going to fuck each other up in there. So that's a really big storyline. The other big story that's coming in is Atticus Kogar got paired up with Alley Cat. Those of you from Texas should be familiar with Alley Cat. She rolled through GCW recently, put on a hell of a match with Nick Gage right in our backyard. It was great. Alley Cat's been on a tear this last year. GCW's been kind of putting her in a storyline where she can hang with the boys, and she's been going in there with some of the badasses. But Atticus Kogar, the interesting thing is Atticus Kogar is Alley Cat's boyfriend. Like they are real life boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're going into a death match in a tournament of survival together with both of them having a lot to prove. There's a lot of people shitting on that match, and quite frankly, both of them want to prove something big, and it's gonna be a killer. We in our group chat, we've been going on and on. Juan, who do you think was gonna win?
I think it's gonna be one of the 44-0 guys. I think it's between Eric Bryan and Ricochet Page.
So is it a bracket? So is there a chance that those guys, like same guys, can meet up in the final, like from the same group? Maybe I'll check the bracket how it's listed. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Well, it's elimination style, so it's 8 to 4 to 2. So anybody can end up facing anybody. It's just a bracket style. The outside storyline is the 44-0 versus the GCW because obviously 44-0 almost got half the tournament of survival in their backyard. And if you saw King of the Death match at the very end, it was quite literally it was 3 members of 44-0 in the ring just beating the shit out of Slack. Like they took that match. It wasn't even funny.
So you see where they're going. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so that we'll have a ton of stuff to talk next week, but that's what we're looking into. The Baracho crew's all getting together Saturday in Austin. So if we don't remember that day, that's why.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we got the San Antonio people coming over and the Austin crew coming over.
Austin, you've been warned. Austin, you have been warned. The Baracho crew is going to be in full effect, so you know, hide women and children and all that stuff. Stay out of the middle of the road. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that jazz. Awesome, man. Well, like I said, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to act like I'm going to watch it, but I can't wait to hear about it next week. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yep.
And we had the mention of Ali Hut from Funaki Dojo.
Yep.
And we got
for us.
All righty, Bo. Appreciate you, numero uno. Be safe, my man. We will talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
So much. So we've talked women's a little bit. We've talked
lucha.
We've talked death match. Let's go to Japan. Like, where else is to go next? Let's go to Japan. And whenever who else are we going to talk to about Japan wrestling?
What's up? What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing? Doing good. I'm good. Sweet. So I'm going to get right to it. Let me put the timer. Boom. Let's go. So over the past 2 weeks, we've actually had the New Japan USA Cup. They've actually been showing on Friday nights at 9 Central. And now we're actually at the finals. So last week we had Kenta beat Jeff Cobb in a pretty decent match. And then in shocking turn of events, Finlay actually beat Tama Tonga, which is pretty cool. And now this is the finals, David Finlay versus Kenta. Now, whoever wins this gets a shot at Moxley, who has a U.S. title. The trick is supposedly he can't wrestle in the U.S. for New Japan. So how they're going to get around that, I'm not quite sure because foreigners are still not allowed in Japan. So that's going to be kind of curious how they're going to do that, but I'm sure New Japan will figure out a way. But, I believe Finlay's going to win just because New Japan USA is very heel heavy, and I'm going to get into it in a second. So also we have the premiere of Adrian Quest. I looked a little bit about him. I guess he's been a guy who's been in the SoCal area for a little bit. He's wrestled in the AAA undercard. He's wrestled for Live from Hollywood. What this really shows is just that New Japan USA, it's really becoming kind of like where all of the Southern Cal guys are being congregated and being brought up to New Japan USA. So we're seeing a lot of the indie guys actually starting to show up in New Japan USA, which is pretty cool because when New Japan USA was first announced, we really didn't have an idea how it would look like. But now, because of this weekly show that we get every hour, just for an hour, starting to get an idea of what to try to do, which is cool. Next, the big news though is my man Jay White, the Switchblade, is coming to the U.S. and is going to be in his tag match. Now, the tag match is kind of relevant. Flip Gordon's pretty cool. Brody King's pretty cool. It's kind of interesting because I thought that Villain Enterprise kind of died, right? Because Brody King said that it's no longer around. But, hey, we see these two guys still together, so we'll see. But what's interesting about Jay White is that this is his first match in New Japan since the COVID shutdown, because he's from New Zealand, so he hasn't had a chance to get to Japan. So now he's coming to the U.S. And an interesting thing is that Tama Tonga, who's in the U.S., and Jay White have all kind of on Twitter just basically stated that, hey, this is still a Switchblade era, which is interesting because Evil is your IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and they still have not shown support for him. So this is probably setting up some type of, another Bullet Club clash and all that, right? But
what they do.
Yep. But we'll see. That's what they tend to do. But hopefully it's going to be better than what it was last time. Next. So now we go to the King of Pro Wrestling 2020. Now, this has been a very controversial topic for the New Japan fans and Poodle fans just in general. So when originally was announced, it was like, it's a match full of gimmicks. But then New Japan fans were like, we don't want gimmicks, right? So when they announced the gimmicks, like, I guess I should be happy the gimmicks are not so gimmicky. But if you're going to do gimmick matches, do some fucking gimmick matches. But I'm going to get to it, and I'm going to try not to hide my displeasure as much as possible. So first, here we have there's another thing I wanted to point out. So the two matches are actually being picked by fans online. So earlier this week, the wrestlers got to pick what they're going to choose, right? So it's interesting is that we have the U.S. Twitter fans and you have the New Japan Twitter fans. And they actually, some of them, they actually agree. And this one, they actually don't agree. So right now, the fans in Japan would rather see Okada versus Yujiro in a 1-3 handicap match. So that's going to be Yujiro, Gato, and Jado versus Okada. Why on earth would you want to see that? Fucking Jado can barely fucking move. He moves worse than Hulk Hogan, but somehow people want to see that. Lord help us all.
People still want to see Hulk Hogan too.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's Hogan.
Not as many, but yeah.
Yeah, and there's there's Yado. I mean, just slight step a little below, right? Right. So yep. And the next match, then you have Kojima versus El Desperado. Now, what is interesting about this one is that they're doing a finisher match or no finisher match. What's really significant about it is that this is actually Despy's third match against a heavyweight, and he's typically a junior. So now that the G1's coming up and they need more people, maybe this is a way to make Despy, pretty relevant and have him beat a former IWGP heavyweight champion and a former Triple Count champion. So that'll be pretty interesting. So right now it looks like they're going to go for a no finisher match, which is fine because a finisher only match. I mean, Kojima's move is a fucking clothesline. So, I mean, that's he can knock out any time. So that'd be kind of boring.
Yeah.
Then the next one, you have these two clowns. So you have Toru Yano and Bushi. So they actually kind of set this up pretty good. So during the trios tournament, Yano actually tied Bushi's mask to the railing, which is why Bushi wants to have a 5-count match out there, right? But Yano, he's a man of the quick pin, so he wants to do a 2-count. So this can be either really funny, really fast, or super long and just like, what the fuck are we watching? Hoping for a short match, but it should be fun. And then
get in, entertain, and get out.
Yeah, exactly. And then with this fucking. So the whole point is you have two wrestlers that pick two different stipulations. In this case, freaking, they both said, "Hey, let's do a submission match." Sure, let's do a submission match. What? That defeats the whole purpose of this whole tournament. Whatever. Anyways. That's that. They're the submission match. Who gives a fuck? Fucking, I guess Sanaa is gonna win that. But the important thing is after so whoever wins these matches, all four of them will be in a 4-way match, and it's gonna go for the King of Pro Wrestling match that's gonna occur in the event for the Unigu Hall. And last but not least, so I'm gonna go do this really quickly. So I'm trying to introduce this is your non-New Japan match of the week, right? So this right here is you have Go Shiozaki versus Keno, and this was actually last week, and it was for the GAC National Champion and the GAC Heavyweight Champion. Now, what's really cool about this match is that you have Go Shiozaki, who's wearing all green, of course, from Misawa, and he's fighting for Noah's pride. He's trying to bring Noah back to the promised land. Keno, on the other hand, he's a younger guy. He's like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna win both titles," right? It's a fairly long match, but it's fucking excellent. It is It is one of my matches of the year, and it's on YouTube. Hence why I selected it.
Nice.
Other than that is all I have. Fucking New Japan and their stupid fucking stipulation matches.
And breathe.
Right? Yeah.
Awesome, man. And just dropping the knowledge. And I'm saying, all you got to do is tune into the pit. You learn all kinds of stuff that you probably never had a clue.
Yep, that's what we're here for. Just spreading the poodle love.
Yeah, because I don't know any of this stuff y'all talking about. It's like y'all could be talking French, but I know it's wrestling and I recognize some of the people, so it's awesome.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, appreciate you as always, man. You killed it.
Have a good night.
All right. Peace.
Hey, you gotta love the Baracho crew. We just know a shit ton about everything.
And you remember most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
We take a lot of pictures when we drink.
And you go back and review.
Yes.
All right. Well, we've kind of traveled around the world. We went, Mexico and Japan and wherever the parts unknown that death matches happen. Let's come back to the mainstream, and we'll bring in our AEW expert. And I know y'all are going to say, well, we didn't even have Dynamite. There's a lot more to AEW than Dynamite on Wednesdays.
Hey guys, so much more than just Dynamite. We got Dark. You got the women's tag team happening, which is right now going to hit the finals on Saturday during Dynamite. You're going to have the tag team of the Nightmare Sisters, which is the controversial tag team that everybody loves to hate on, especially because Cody Rhodes' wife is in there, Brandy Rhodes, and she's gotten all kinds of heel heat going on right now. Whether it's intentional or not, she gets that heel heat, and they're going up against the Las Sicarias. The favorites, I think, because I love those ladies, Diamante and Ivelisse. So you got that coming up. You also have Brody Lee is taking on Cody Rhodes for that TNT championship with the finished belt, which is nice. And he promises to give him the old belt if he loses. So we'll see how that goes. See if Cody can hang on for another week. You finally have the Sammy and Matt Hardy match coming to a head, which is been built up so well because of that chair shot, that unintentional chair shot to the head. They've really built it up and built up Matt looking for him and trying to chase him down, which is cool. What else we got? If you haven't seen Dark,
real quick, did you see the Sammy picture with all that backstage heat and he had all the fans?
Oh man,
fans. Good thing I have all my fans.
Yeah.
Backstage heat, that was great. Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
I mean, just building on that, Sammy does such a good job, and so does Matt. That's what makes it so great is that they build on it in social media. Posting pictures, posting their own promos, posting this and that. Even in Sammy's vlog, he did such a great job. He took his pants that had the blood on it and he framed it and put it on his wall in his apartment. And he's just like, I'm just going to leave that there for you guys. It's like, yeah. So, I mean, it just brings on heat for him as well. They're so good at it. So that's going to be a really interesting match. Another one that's going to be fun is that, Ricky Starks is a talker. We love him because that guy can cut a promo, and he cut the best promo on Dark against Darby Allin. So I'd love to see those guys go at it again, especially since the last time they met, Darby hit him with the skateboard on the back with thumbtacks. Yeah, which was really cool.
Yeah, Brad would like that spot.
I enjoyed it. That made it into the deathmatch group. Honestly, I saw it first.
Yeah. Darby's coming up with new ways to try to get people. I mean, and incorporating the whole skateboard into everything has just been, to me, gold. I love it. Him coming down the skateboard, hitting people with it, smacking them. I mean, I'm not huge on the whole deathmatch thing, but I might get down with a skateboard and thumbtacks. That was pretty cool. So it's just a lot of stuff coming up. AEW announced also today they're going to start doing 10 to 15% in their arena. Oh, there you go. Can't wait.
My boy Berto's going to be there.
Yep. They're gonna start opening it up. They are enforcing the rules. They're gonna go 10% at first, then 15%. See how it goes. They have a block sectioned off. Yeah, I hope it does really, really well. They're gonna have blocks sectioned off for tickets, and then you know, WWE's got SummerSlam coming up. I'm going to talk about it real quick. Just they have WWE Underground now on Raw. They have Raw Underground, and now on Fridays they're going to be doing this Thunderdome style, which is basically screens 360 around, which is, I don't know, it's a little weird because then you have like 5 screens with the same person's face on. So that's just a little weird to me, but we'll see how it plays out in the next show.
So I was thinking about that, and so I bet you somebody didn't show up. I bet a lot of people didn't show up, and just at the last second they were like, all right, we'll just put the same people out there, and didn't, because the main tell of that was almost the whole front row was one guy.
Yeah.
So
it was.
I think it was just a snag in the system, and I bet you tomorrow night they'll have a queue of people that can stand in if you don't show your time slot.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I'm sure, because there were also a lot of black screens on there, so you know, they didn't.
I shit on WWE a lot, but as a stockholder, I have a vested interest in the company. The screens for fans was a good move. Because a lot of people said, you know, AEW's letting fans in, and if WWE had done that, the world would have shit on him. And I agree with that. I mean, still fuck Vince McMahon, but I agree. It was a good move on their part.
Yeah, I mean, this is a one way to get around the rule, you know, of having no fans. And also all their arenas are closed. So, I mean, there's no way for them to have the same abilities as AEW, because, I mean, they just happen to be blessed with having, you know, Daly's Place, and it's so readily available. And that's all I got, guys. In a nutshell, I'm ready for Killa Kate. I want to hear some Killa Kate.
We got a couple of announcements. We forgot to mention the AEPW show that's happening.
Yeah, we have an AEPW show in Austin.
Austin's not South Texas.
So tomorrow night, AEPW normally runs on Saturday, but this week they're going to run, I guess because of Dynamite and other things going on, they're going to run tomorrow night. That show is free on YouTube. It's a hell of a show. AEPW puts on a hell of a show. Great students, great teachers, great direction. My favorite wrestler, Luchador Insane, wrestles for that promotion. So he's not going to be on the card tomorrow night, I don't believe. But if check it out with him. We'll be on YouTube. We'll be watching it.
And then
I'll be there rooting for El Rayo.
Yeah.
Lucha.
Yep.
Awesome, Melanie. Well, appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
And yeah, we're ready for Killa Kate, but we did kind of tease in the beginning and been teasing all week, or last couple of days, about a big announcement we need to make real quick. Talking about shows that are coming up. I'm like super stoked, and I'm super selfish about being stoked because it's about me and my company finally getting to do something. Going to be partnering with GCWA, one of the top companies in South Texas. In Texas is what we say. They bring it. Their shows are high quality, all the talent. Sammy Guevara's last indie show was at GCWA. I mean, since we talked about Sammy, we'll be partnering up. The date will be September 26th. It'll be an outdoor show called Drive-In and Dives.
Yep.
September 26th in Corpus Christi at the Valencia parking lot. More information coming. There's there was supposed to be a bigger announcement. They kind of threw me a curve, GCWA. They said, well, we want the main event to be GCWA champ versus PPW champ. Okay, so those of you who have been following along, I don't have a champ yet. PPW does not have a champ yet because of fucking COVID. It's made me cancel 5 dates.
I was the champion, but COVID stopped it. I was not able to show up and pin Chandler Hopkins.
Baby. But as y'all also know me, I always have a plan. And I know some guys.
Uh-oh.
And I'm pretty sure I can find a guy that, he's not going to be technically my champ, of course, because I haven't had a show yet. But as y'all know, there's champs out there. I'm going to find one.
I can't wait to hear more about that. Let me know what you find out there. I might drop you a name or two myself.
If y'all have any recommendations, like I said, I know some people, but hit me up. We can find a champ.
Put it in the comments who you think.
But so that's a big announcement. Like I said, it's kind of a little selfish because it's my promotion, but we're just stoked and excited. September 26th, Corpus Christi, GCWA and PPW bring drive-in and dives.
Can't wait.
All right. And now for the main event of the evening. We've been talking about Mission Pro. We're going to keep talking about Mission Pro. Mission Pro's coming up. Super stoked. We've said a lot about it. So let's just bring on another one of the talents and welcome into the pit. Killa Kate, how are you?
What's up?
How's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Welcome to the pit.
I'm happy to be in the pits.
Yeah. Well,
So
everybody always asks us, but we do give the intro in the wrong place. So this week we're going to give them the right. You can totally swear if you want to. You can say whatever you want. We don't mind. You say
Okay.
whatever you want. It's not going to bother us at all.
Awesome. Okay.
So let's just jump into it. Kate, what's been going on with you lately?
What's been going on? Just training, prepping for Mission Pro. We're about like a month away, maybe I think less than a month away now. I forget what date it is right now, but we're almost there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the hype is starting to get real. It's starting to get prepared for this tag match. Me and Promise Braxton against Jenna Lynn and Vert Vixen. It's gonna be awesome. The whole show's gonna be great.
It's a great card. It's a great card. Speaking
That
of
match there. Sorry.
Oh.
So were you excited to find out that you were going to get booked on Mission Pro's next show again?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've never worked for Mission Pro exactly, so it's my debut at Mission Pro, and just it's awesome what they've been doing so far. And now that it's like an all women's promotion, you know, in front of the camera and behind the scenes, it's just a great event to be a part of, and I'm excited to, you know, make some history.
It's going to be historic. I mean, fully run by women, commentating by women, referees are women, announcers women, owned by women. Like, so freaking stoked for that show.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you been prepping for wrestling in general to come back? I know COVID's kind of had a hold on everybody's life, but how have you been prepping for the return of wrestling in that time?
Just getting back in the ring more consistently, you know, now that like some more schools and stuff are opening up, so you're able to get more ring time and stuff like that. And also hitting up the gym now that the gyms are kind of open. You know, my gym, I've had some issues where like one of them, it was closed, so I had to join another one since they're not open yet. So I've gone through that process, and otherwise just, you know, the hardest part for all of us, making sure we eat right during this whole thing, you know, because I mean, I love food personally, so that's probably one of my biggest struggles is making sure I eat right.
Yeah, this COVID weight is no joke that I've gotten. I blame COVID. It's just me lazy, but now at least I have something to blame, which doesn't help because it just makes it worse. It's like, COVID, this is COVID ice cream and COVID pie and COVID cake. Like, no, it's not. It's just you. It's me being old and lazy, but totally get it. So have you tagged with Promise before? Is this the first time?
I have not.
So how does that preparation go when it's like a new team together? I was pretty sure you hadn't, but I just wanted to make sure not like I didn't want to sound too dumb. But how do you prep with a new tag partner? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I would say it's kind of hard, especially since we're in two different cities, you know, me up here in Dallas and she's in Houston. So a lot of it is kind of just like a strategy, you know, making sure that we're watching tape back on Vert and Jenna and stuff like that. Me and Promise actually got to wrestle for the first time ever back in February. So we're kind of familiar with each other in that aspect, but more so not you like as a tag team. So in combination, it's going to be kind of more so, you know, once we get there, we're going to have to figure some things out.
But being that y'all worked, together in a match, that probably helps you. So you kind of have an idea of your styles because you being more of the submission grinder, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
The matches I've seen you once or twice in person, and then of course know a little bit. That in which I always think that's kind of a tougher style in a tag match. It's like how can you block the position when you know? I mean, they have a partner right there that can come in and break. You know, it makes it another challenge. So how do you?
It's kind of hard when you got someone on the outside, please don't tap, and I'm trying to get them to, you know, give up. It's harder when they have someone there who's just a little bit away. If they can reach there, you know, that's an issue.
Sure, and they can come in and break it up and then you're with a new partner who, you know, so just a lot of issues that can come out of that. But I'm super stoked for the match. We'll be having your partner on next week. She's actually another announcement. We'll be having Promise next week in the pit.
In the pit.
Yeah.
So How do you feel about the opponents that you're working on? A lot of us really are in this area big fans of Vert Vixen and Gentleland just for their work in this region. How do you feel about those opponents?
I feel like they're two very tough girls. I would say I think me and Jenna started around the same time, and Vert shortly after. So we're kind of in the same experience level wise in regards to that. So I don't take anything lightly, especially, Jenna being a black belt and Vert also having, martial arts background as well. I know that, they got some deadly strikes inside the ring. So I'm taking them seriously. I know they're very popular down there, but I'm going to come and beat them. That's the plain, that's the simple fact,
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Sorry to ruin everybody's day, but
no. I mean,
I'll have a great Friday,
That's all you can hope for. Everybody hopes for a W.
And it's going to be a hard-hitting match too. I mean, because you mentioned the styles. I mean, we got just a lot of martial arts going on in this match on both sides. Which again, I mean, I used to do a little bit of martial arts myself, so that's why I'm really extra kind of stoked about it. Yeah, it wasn't always fat and gray.
I'm just imagining we're all going to come out like bruised up after this match, just like beaten to shreds, and it's going to be fun though.
I'd love to see a good stiff match. Honestly, it would be nice just to watch y'all whoop each other's asses for a little while.
And that's the kind of mindset that makes it good. Is that you're saying like we're going to come out beaten and everything is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
like that's the mindset you need to be in a match like that.
Exactly.
So to back up a little bit and talk more, just generalize more about you. What made you initially get into wrestling?
Initially getting into wrestling, like I didn't come from like a wrestling family, even though they were supportive throughout my career. I kind of just like saw it on TV one day and was like, what is this? Like, I have no idea. It was like a mix between like athleticism and entertainment. And that's kind of what really drew me in, because I've always liked, like action movies and stuff like that. I've been more into like the physical side of stuff with like when I did karate and stuff, but getting to have that combination of the entertainment aspect as well is kind of what really made me love it. And then after seeing it on TV, getting to see it on the local scene here in DFW, my parents took me to some of the shows and stuff like that. And I think that's what really hooked me, was getting to see it up close and in person. So that's why I always tell people, if you don't like wrestling, what you see on TV and stuff like that, come to a show in person, because it's just a completely different experience. It's so different. Like, you'll just have fun,
Exactly. I mean, we preach that a lot here in the pit, and I was actually on the Mission Pro little podcast this week too, and that's what we say. I mean, wrestling, going to a WWE show, AEW show is fun and great, and watching it on TV's pretty cool most of the time. But indie shows live in person, I mean, you just can't beat the energy and the involvement. Like, you feel part of it, as long as you know your boundaries, of course. Which that was a whole topic of discussion as well, for as far as the fans knowing their boundaries. But you can have a lot of fun. And a lot of, I mean, we have a blast. I mean, we live for it.
I think to me, it, like, I tell people, I go to the big roster stuff for my friends. Like, my friends go, and I want to go and hang out with my friends. But when I go to indie shows, it's for me, it's kind of like pro versus football, or pro versus college. Yeah. I feel like indie talent works so much harder. Not to put down anything that main roster guys do, but these guys go out there and they meet their own fans, and it's not like there aren't long lines. You don't get 5 seconds. Talent invests themselves. That's one thing I've always really appreciated. And then the matches have a lot of athleticism. And I think even more so when a match tells a story on the indie scene, because you don't get a ton of promo time. You don't get a ton of that extra stuff like you would on TV. So when people tell a story in the indie ring, it's with their moves. And it's just, to me, it's just beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. I would agree. Like, you can't beat the production of like the bigger companies. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of it, is just like the spectacle of it. But like on the indie scale, like you said, it's more intimate, and there's more, I feel like, freedom to be more artistic in a lot of aspects.
That's very true. What was so you discovered wrestling, you want to get into wrestling. Tell me what that's like for you, like breaking onto the scene, training and getting matches. What was those first few years for you like?
It's difficult. Like, I won't lie. Like, I feel like the biggest piece of advice I always give people when they're like, how do you get out there? How do you go to shows? Like, before I even graduated from like my wrestling training, I was already going to shows, like watching them, helping them start to break down and stuff like that, just trying to network and get out there and see, what are the shows that I would like to start working once I graduate? what are the people that I want to wrestle when I start getting out there, and just making those connections are so vital. You just got to get out there and meet people and help out. And honestly, like, be a team player is like one of the best things I can tell people. Don't have an ego. Don't walk in like the business owes you anything, because it doesn't.
I love that.
And then putting in the work, and like you said, a lot. Of course, we got to, just to be clear. A lot of the main roster people came from indies and did this and earned it, and this was their goal, and they worked towards it 10 years, 15 years. But of course, there's the handful that were gifted it and were born in chose the right parents, is how I like to say. Like, all you did was choose the right parents, which really you don't do that, right? So anyway, that's gotten some people millions of dollars, but you still got to work. So you said you started watching it, and was there a certain talent that you saw that were like, yeah, that's who I want to? Because I can't really put my finger on like your style, like especially for women's wrestling, that you would have like had someone to look up to and be like, oh, that's who I want to be like as a female wrestler. Was there a wrestler that kind of made you want to do your style, like with the submissions and everything?
It's kind of hard because like women's wise, I was trying to think about like styles. I was always really into like Mercedes Martinez and like Awesome Kong, like a lot of like the TNA or like Shimmer people back then. But more so like in WWE, it was like Randy Orton, Kurt Angle, Low Key, Samoa Joe, like kind of like those people, or Low Key. Like, I love Low Key.
I love Low Key. Almost no one ever talks about Low Key anymore, and it's
really.
I never hear about him from anybody. Like, I think he got caught in between like WWE, like maybe because he failed when he went to WWE. Not failed, but they didn't do anything with him really.
Yeah.
With the Bella Twins or whatever it was.
But his older TNA stuff, and even now, is savage. Like, I would never want that guy to kick me ever.
Oh yeah, he's legit. Like, he was my first seminar I ever did, and it was legit. Like, he's awesome. Really good.
Well, we got some questions from this is why we do this live, and not this. Why, again, I always point out, this is not a podcast. This is a talk show. We have fans that are watching, and they want to know who your dream opponent would be. And that, I guess, would be indie, pro, or signed or whatever.
Oh, definitely Mercedes Martinez. That's like who I've always kept saying.
And if you've watched any of our shows in the past, we referenced her as the GOAT. We are big fans of Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, she's awesome, and she's super sweet too. And I'm so happy that she's like finding success right now in the WWE and stuff like that. It's just great to see. I
don't know if you want to answer this question or not, but he's one of our experts, so I'm putting it on here. Who would you, the opposite? Like, is there anyone you wouldn't want to work? That's kind of. I
would never work with someone who is not trained.
There you go. That's a proper way to answer that. Great job. You're good at everything. That's the proper way. Don't throw nobody under the bus, but
yeah. Good. Please just get properly trained, and I'll wrestle you, no problem.
No, I'll tap you out, no problem.
Yeah,
Get you out.
So to kind of spin off those last questions, what are some of your favorite matches that you've had in your career?
Okay, let me think. There's a lot. That's why it's so hard. I would say definitely some of my matches with Thunder Rosa, Baby D. She goes by Rach Chanel now. I had one of my favorite matches when she did the baseball gimmick previously.
Yeah.
Christy Janes, I like to wrestle her. There's just like a lot. There's just a lot of people. I don't know. It's hard to pick like one.
Yeah.
But any match where you forget about exactly what happened in it, but more so how it made you feel. Like, those are my favorite ones.
Nice. So of all those places and all these matches, where has been your like favorite place to work?
I gotta say, here's my go-to answer. It's Laredo, Texas, because they have the best food.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Is that LWA or which?
Yeah, LWA down there. Yeah. They're always awesome. They have the best food.
Yeah, and those guys are great, and they're big supporters of ours too. And they actually have a show that comes on after ours, the Drop the Mic with LT. And yeah, and I always mean to mention that every freaking week, and we've been doing this for how many months?
Here's the plug.
Finally, and he's probably not even watching, but Lieutenant Dan, I'm finally ready to let everybody drop the mic. I was interviewed on one of their shows last year, I think it was, but yeah, I love those guys. And yeah,
they're great
in Laredo. I grew up 40 minutes from there. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So to kind of get a little bit more deeper into that, the favorites question, what is your favorite move that you to perform? Like when you're in the ring, something when someone calls it, you're like, oh hell yeah, I'm ready for this.
Like that I do or that someone else does?
Either way. Both.
Yeah, you can answer both.
I was trying to think of like what someone else does. I like getting like slammed actually. Like if I just like being controlled and just like thrown somewhere. It's pretty fun. And I mean, I don't know. I just like getting thrown around because I like getting right back up again and
that's such
getting
a common
at it.
answer that I've gotten. Like I've had some wrestlers that are like, I love getting power bombed and I love getting spine busted. I'm like, man, that's why y'all
yeah.
that's why
Yeah, I guess I'm used to getting like taken down and like getting right back, like getting back into the fight. So like, I don't know, that's okay with me. I love doing my rear naked choke, which is my finish. It just honestly, it feels super natural for me because I've always been used to fighting off my back and like BJJ and stuff like that. So it's just very natural go to. I can apply it to smaller people, to bigger people. It doesn't matter. They're all gonna go to sleep, you know.
I'm with you on that too. Like I said, my training, that was my favorite thing to learn and the most used move that I think I did in any match that I was ever in. But yeah, that rear naked, just when you just feel it, just like victory. Like, you know what I mean? Once it's just in there, you're like, yeah, this guy's
when
done.
You got your hooks in and you got that, yeah.
Yeah, it's wrapped and they're done and they don't even realize, like they still fight. Like, yeah, you can fight all you want. You're just making it worse. It's beautiful move. Bring me memories. Like, I'm gonna have to go get back in shape now.
What would be some of your least favorite moves to either give or receive?
I'm trying to think to give or receive. I don't know. I don't know. I would say I honestly don't know. I'm not like super into like hardcore wrestling. Like I love watching it, but like the thought of participating in it like makes me so I don't know how some people do it, but I like to watch it. Just participating in it, it's
so you're not down with
I don't know.
And
no light tubes, no
light tubes are so misunderstood.
Except for those ones that were at that show a couple weeks ago.
I think I've been scarred like since I saw like a light tube match when I was like 14 in person. So like after that I was just like no thank you.
Yeah, that's a hard pass for me on all that too. I'm with you. I don't even like watching it either though. Like you're tougher than me that you can even watch it. Like I said, I support
you respect it, you know. You're like, I watch this and I respect it, but you know.
And that's what people ask me, and or we talk about all the time. Is like, well, which one do you hate the most, and what do you hate the most? I'm like, I don't hate any of it. It's wrestling. Like it's all kinds of flavors. You know, I mean, I might have favorites over least favorites, but I do not hate styles of wrestling at all because it's wrestling, and that person has put their lives on the line and dedicate their lives to do that type of wrestling. How can you, and just the people that hate this and hate that? I mean, I can hate companies, hate like and way things are run, but the people wrestling and doing their style of stuff and that's getting over on top of that, I can't. Even though I completely agree. It's not getting me over. Like I'm not loving it, but so I just support these people that just go out there. I mean, they risk it all.
Exactly.
I mean, literally risk it all. And yeah, I'm not that guy. Like I said, I've trained boxing. I've been MMA fights where, of course, you know, there's risk involved. But yeah, I don't think I would ever have been able to be a wrestler. It's just
you never know. Like,
well, I know now.
Don't sell yourself short.
Well, I'm getting close to 50. It's probably late to start that career.
It's a certain kind of person. Like right now in the deathmatch scene, a lot of those guys are really trying to establish to the world, like, no, I can wrestle too. I like to get hit by a light tube. That's fair. Fuck Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan, absolute work.
I think that's a misconception that a lot of those guys and girls like they can wrestle like the normal too, but like the hardcore is what they choose to do because that's what they love, you know.
Malone is one of the best in the world, and he was actually a wrestler before he was a deathmatch wrestler, and he's good. He's really good.
That's like what a lot of people didn't know about. I know it's not deathmatch, but another gimmick that people have problems with was like Orange Cassidy in AEW, where he's just like super lazy and whatever. But when he was in, I think it's Chikara.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude is talented. Now he's got to show it. He's had the matches with Jericho and
Right.
even had to kind of carry Jericho this last match a little bit because Jericho kept watching things. But
I saw it.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, to get where they're at, it's not accident. You know what I mean? Like I said, except for the small handful of people that chose the right parents, like they had to bust their butts to get there, man.
Right. So what would be something that you wanted to do in wrestling that you've never had the chance to do yet?
One of my goals is to go out of the country. So
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to do that yet. Like in real life either. I just like haven't gone out of the country. So doing that with wrestling would be like a big goal of mine. I would love to do.
Oh yeah.
One of our Melanie asking, of the two you're going up against at Mission Pro, who would you rather tap more? I know you don't really care as long as it's one of them, but if you had to choose.
That's a good question. I'm gonna pick Jenna. Yeah.
Because of the black belt.
Yeah.
It's the jiu-jitsu versus karate. Yeah. I know that like yeah.
That's a tough one either way. I think Bert Vixen might even put you in a mindset to be like, oh no, okay, no, maybe you're the one I'm gonna tap out.
Yeah, once the match goes on, you'll be like, nope, I want to tap her out.
Yeah, that's true too. She is very tough. She's very tough. I think she's a little bit taller than me too, so I got to take that into consideration.
The longer limbs, you might go for some joint manipulation instead of a choke or something. But
yeah, I just say Jenna because she's so sweet and so nice, and I would love to ruin her day. Just make her.
Wow.
Love it.
Love it. That's the cherry on top. It's like, oh, you tapped out and you're having a terrible day.
Yeah, no, I guess they don't call her Rookie Jen anymore. How long? That's kind of like all these other monikers that we've had with like Roxy and stuff. Like when they have names like that, they don't last so long. They have to change to something.
Yeah,
Rookie
ever evolving.
Yeah.
Let's see. I had one more question for you. Oh, I lost it.
That was a good example by Jason Terry Funk.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
The matches with Ric Flair, the matches with Cactus Jack, great in both. So try to make sure we don't forget the fans that are watching and tuning in.
This is my personal favorite question, and you don't have to include any names, but I would love to hear a story about a time you gave somebody a receipt.
Gave somebody a receipt. I'm trying to think. Okay, I guess so there I'm trying to remember. I don't want to like say anything, but like there's this one match where I got kneed in the face. Basically like the side. Well actually it's more like the back of the head. I was trying to remember correctly. So it's more like the back of the head. So it wasn't really anything I could do to like make it not be a concussion, which is gonna happen. So I was like, okay. So I just remember for like the rest of the match, I was just like a little more stiff than usual, just because I was just like, that wasn't really cool. But to be honest, I don't think that person, like I said earlier, didn't have the proper training. So that's why I'm a little more careful now, like about who I step in the ring with, in regards to that. Of there's a line you don't cross.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's a big concept too. Like a lot of people think it's like, well, you got punched, I'm coming in there to punch you back. And when you talk to a lot of talent, it's always refreshing to hear people say, I never give like a receipt, but there were a couple guys that I kind of nudged a little bit harder. Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah.
Really that camaraderie, like, you would, with your boys, with your gang, you kind of, hey man, watch out,
Yeah, little elbow, little push, little extra squeeze. Yeah. And then especially if you're training or due to someone lacking training, you're kind of teaching them as long as it was like, this is kind of what could happen. You don't.
Yeah, just kind of letting them know, like you're like that's not going to be happening again in this match. This it's going to be a little more different now.
And there's a question that Melanie asked, but we already. She must not have been.
Oh yeah, the choke.
We're making choke. We love taking life slowly.
I got one more.
One more before we get to the.
You talked about hardcore. If you have a hardcore match, you could hide one thing under the ring. What would it be?
Hide one thing under the ring.
Yeah, what's your weapon you put under the ring to pull out mid-match to make everybody pop?
Oh, that's a good question. I might think about that for a second. I'm like, I don't know. I want it to be something that's like obviously unique to me, but that's kind of hard.
I was gonna say, I was like, just another strap or something fighting around. I don't know.
We've seen the
Just come
wild.
out with a belt.
There you
Right.
go.
You know, just a
There you go.
straight old belt.
Yeah, you can use that to wrap around, do more of like a Severn versus a Gracie. But anyway, yeah. You could just do the power. Well, I know it made it kind of made it seem like we were done asking you questions, but I don't know if you've watched the show or not. Every interview we do, we end with a go home segment.
Okay.
Where it's a rapid fire 20 questions. You get around, we say around 5 seconds, like an AEW 5 second to answer, so it can turn into 10 seconds because we don't count. Like AEW doesn't know how to count and do tags right. It'll be me and Brad will be going back and forth 10 each. So are you ready for the go home segment?
Yes, I'm sometimes bad at these, but let's do it.
All right, Killa Kate, it's time to go home. For volume controls, do you stop on odd or even numbers?
Oh, even.
All right.
What's the most useful thing you own?
Probably right now, my water bottle, like my gallon water bottle I've been trying to drink out of.
What's a toy you always wanted as a kid, but you never managed to get?
Oh, you know that Pikachu Nintendo 64, the one that's like the Hey You Pikachu. All the cool kids had that one.
Impossible.
Jeez.
Would you rather know more about space or the ocean, and why?
Space. Yeah.
And what about space? Like
just everything. I love sci-fi. That's my stuff. So space, yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah. What goes on top of your hot dog?
Spicy ketchup.
Oh man, that's a great answer.
I love spicy ketchup so much. If you had to change your name, what would it be?
I don't know. Probably something cool. I don't know. I'd probably just change it to like one of my nicknames used to be like Kit Kat, so I'd probably just change it to that. Easy to do.
There you go.
What's your favorite song from the 90s?
There's so many. There's just so many. I'd probably pick something like old school rap. I'm just trying to picture it in my head, but yeah, I love rap. That's my jam.
If you could learn the answer to one question about your future, what would the question be?
I guess my question would be, I don't know. Like that's a hard one. Will I be happy?
There you go. We'll take it.
Careful. What would
sounds depressing.
What would you do if the answer was no?
I know. I was like, that sounds super depressing, but I don't know. That's probably the thing I would ask. Like,
there you go.
So measuring it in total number of pounds, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Probably 3,600 pounds.
Perfect.
I think that's right. I checked the good. Yep, correct. What is the best room in your
I know
house?
my woodchucks.
What is the best room in your house and why?
Probably just my room because that's the only room I have to myself. Otherwise, I share it with my roommates. So
there you go.
My room.
I've been there, done that. Yep.
What's your favorite vacation spot?
I love like going to like the city, which obviously isn't optimal right now, but like one of my dream places, I want to go to New York. So I love the city.
Yeah, same. Right. Which TV show would you like your life to be like?
Probably like one of the sci-fi shows. One of my favorite shows is like I love like Farscape, or I love like Firefly, The Expanse, like Star Trek, all that stuff. Put me in a spaceship. Let's go. Like
there you go.
At the current moment, is the screen on your cell phone cracked?
Yes. Oh, that's awful. I never drop any of my stuff, but I dropped it like a year ago when I was shooting a promo and it cracked.
It happens.
Just a little bit though.
A tiny bit? Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think is a huge waste of money?
Buying things that you don't need. I guess is the best way to put it. You know, like, I don't know.
Yep, that works.
I don't judge people's money and stuff, but like, I'm a
Right.
big budget person, so find things you don't need.
There you go.
How long would you guess you could hold your breath for max?
Probably like a minute 30.
Not bad.
What's your favorite hiding place or place to get away?
Place to get away. I've been hiking a lot recently, so I think that's probably one of my favorite newer places to go is hiking.
Nice.
Since we can't do anything else.
All right. In your own personal hell, what are you forced to wear every single day for the rest of eternity?
What am I forced to wear every day? I gotta be honest, probably say a dress. I only put them on when I have to. But wearing one every day, I would die. I would die.
This is already pre-written, but it kind of fits with one of your answers before. What secret about the universe would you like to know?
Like if there's other planets that are sustainable, are there aliens out there? Just so many stuff.
There you go. I knew you were going to answer for that one. Put me in the ship.
My last question is, who would win in a fight between Big Bird and Barney?
Barney's got a really good base, but Big Bird has like the reach, I feel. Probably Big Bird, man. Like I think he could throw a couple of those rights pretty far away and probably knock Barney out, I guess. Yeah, Barney's got the little T-Rex hands.
Like he'd be like, oh no.
Yeah. He could probably take a lot of damage, but one good punch, he'd be,
Nice.
Sorry, I need to take a breath because this is the last question.
Okay.
And it's the same question that we've asked everyone since we started this segment. I don't know how many we've done now. 5, 6, 7, 8. Feels like a million because they evolved in the wrong answer. Unless you ask Brad. Brad thinks they're all the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Do pineapples go on pizza?
Yes. Was that the right answer?
It was the right answer. It was.
I freaking love pineapples. Like they're one of my favorite fruits.
Every time we get together, all the boys get together and order pizza, we always get a Hawaiian, no matter what. Like it's even spoken. Like it's just like Juan will be like, "Did you get a Hawaiian?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes. Okay. So I was right then. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Josh. Here he is. He'll tell you. She's right. Right?
I got it right.
Yeah.
You got it like everybody else did.
Oh, okay.
Well, Kate, it's been a pleasure having you on. I had a lot of fun talking with you.
Thank you, guys. It's been fun.
Thank you so much. We can't wait. Mission Pro.
September
18th. Yes.
Buddha Pinball Kingdom. It's going to be great. Come out, support women's wrestling. Thank you so much for joining us in the pit.
Thank you, guys.
It's a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Great.
So good, man. So good.
I think that, I mean, the honest truth is that pineapples go on pizza. And I know that some of you guys out there don't think that way. And if you have an allergy, I still don't give a shit because pineapples still go on pizza. They just can't go on your pizza. Sorry, buddy.
I'm really, yeah.
I'm gonna so much in a large pineapple, just a rolling pineapple.
It's like every time, man. Like the show's going great, having fun, laughing, smiling, and then ruined.
One day someone's gonna agree with you, and we will never have that person back on the show, and that's okay.
If there'll be a regular on the show, what are you talking about?
Every week from now on, this is our guest.
Oh, you had a real quick question before we sign off. Usually we sign off, but you have one asked for you there. I think it's been asked that day.
So I'm gonna take a second actually to brag. I'm gonna go ahead and type my own shit here real quick.
Hey, that's what we do.
I actually if y'all can see this well, I don't know. Those are 2 ring worn deathmatch shirts that I picked up. One's worn by Jimmy Lloyd in his match with Akira a couple weeks ago, and the other was worn by John Wayne Murdoch in his return to IWA. Currently, those are my two favorite things on the wall. But the other favorite that I would probably have picture-wise, honestly, is probably my Chandler Hopkins or my Remedy and Ethan picture. So that's it. Thanks, David. I appreciate you asking me that.
Yeah, and he also hinted that there's a show that another show I need to be on, which of course I've given a lot of love to the Kayfabe Connection. Yeah. And as you know from my tattoos that everybody's seen, say when. That's all I got. That's my response to that. Say when.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hey man, another week, another good episode. Great episode. We're getting the hang of this. We're gonna figure it out one of these days.
One by one.
I think we're doing pretty good, man. Appreciate you as always.
Later, guys.
Latest.